Hey yo, I'm Travis, this is the Wicked Bitter YouTube channel, and you're watching Dropping the Elbow, dude!
We ain't got a limit, ballin' like a scrimmage. Pushing up and printed, and you know it's tinted. I'm just waiting on a call, cause we know you finished. Whole team about to get it like we wanna pin it.
Oh, a little bit of the bubbly.
Welcome back to another episode of Dropping the Elbow DTE. I am Travis. Josh is not here today, but that's okay, because today you got me. We're going to talk about last night's AEW Dynamite. Great show. It was a really great show, and not a lot of matches, because the last match, the main event, was MGF versus CM Punk, and it was about a 40-minute marathon. It was actually a really good match. I want to talk about last night's show, but before we do that, I got to say the cool YouTube things that everybody always says. I don't know if it's cool, but everybody says it. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We'd love to have you. Thanks for checking out this video. If you don't mind, go ahead and hit subscribe. Go ahead and hit like. Comment on the video. Let us know your thoughts about last night's show or the overall product itself if you're a big fan of AEW. If you don't like AEW, I don't know why you're watching this video, but if you do, let us know some of the things you love about it the most and some things about maybe last night's episode. And if you're back and a returning subscriber, welcome back. We love that you're checking out all these videos. I thank you personally for that. I really appreciate all the love and support. We've actually gone up on some subscribers since the last videos, and that's always cool to see. It's very encouraging. Now, with that all out of the way, let's talk about AEW Dynamite last night. Like I said, great show. It was in Chicago. I mean, we all know where this is going, right? CM Punk's hometown. We're going to have to start, though, with the first match of the night. Jon Moxley versus Wheeler Yuta. It was supposed to be the Brian Kendrick, and that match got nixed. It got thrown out the window because something that Brian Kendrick had tweeted out or said in an interview or something long time ago, almost 10 years ago, back in 2013. Hey, I'm not up for people bashing other people, you know, or talking bad about other people like this, but when are we going to stop digging up things from the past to get some people in some hot water? I don't know. I don't think that's cool, but I also don't think it's cool what he said. So don't take this as me supporting anything he said. It was honestly just his opinion. It's a conspiracy theory he has. I mean, everybody has their opinions and thoughts and beliefs and disbeliefs on things. If we all brutalized him the way he's being brutalized, I guess, on social media, I don't know, this world would be a lot more chaotic, I feel like. Some things need to be addressed. Some things need to be looked down on and talked to and corrected, but I don't think we should be sending all the hate that a lot of people get. Anyway, Brian Kendrick taken out of the match, so we get Wheeler Yuta. I felt like this was an opportunity for AEW to give us something different, cool, something we haven't seen before, and they did. I guess we haven't really seen Moxley versus Yuta, not that I can remember at least. This match was actually pretty solid. I wasn't expecting it to be anything great. I was actually expecting it to be a squash, and Wheeler Yuta actually put up a pretty sweet fight. So, yeah, props to him. Good match between the two. And just seeing Moxley again, you're kind of just reminded, like, how good of shape he's in. Like, this is the best shape I've ever seen Moxley in. Moxley or Ambrose, whatever you want to call him. And any promotion he's been in, he looks amazing, and I hope he keeps up at it. But Moxley wins, as you would expect. And, it's funny because as he was, like, celebrating his win in the ring, I was thinking to myself, I was like, what happened to the whole Bryan Danielson thing? Like, Danielson showed up one day or a couple when Moxley returned that night, and he fought on Rampage that Friday. Bryan kind of cut him off in the audience as he was leaving. They kind of had a stare down and stuff. And I'm like, oh, this is going to be the next feud, but then we haven't really heard about it for a little while. So it was cool to see Bryan back in the ring and confronting Moxley. And I don't know how many of you enjoy the sport of baseball, but this was a curveball. Yes, a curveball in pro wrestling. They do happen, and they don't happen often anymore, but they happen sometimes, and when they do, they are great and very much welcomed. This was one of those scenarios. I thought this was a flat-out, as you could suspect, a rivalry, a feud between Bryan Danielson and Moxley, when it actually turned out that when Bryan got on the microphone, he actually wants to combine forces with Mox, and he mentioned guys like Daniel Garcia, Wheeler Yuta, Moriarty. I'm so bad at saying his name. He mentioned these few guys as part of a stable, and how he and Moxley can share and train them and become like the future of the business and take over the company. And I thought that was actually pretty cool. You don't really, I wasn't expecting that. Like I said, it was a curveball. It wasn't just a fastball down the middle. Hey, Bryan Danielson versus Moxley feud. It was a curveball. And even though part of me feels like Moxley will not accept the offer, he kind of gave a look at the camera like, can you believe this guy? But the more Bryan talked, I was like, damn, I want to see this happen. I want to see this feud or this stable. I want to see this happen. And I don't know. If Moxley rejects it and they feud one another one-on-one, I'm still okay with this. But if they do join up and become like a team or a stable and go after the tag titles, like that's equally as exciting, even though AEW is jam-packed with tag teams and factions. I think this one, though, would be a great one to check out for sure. I'm not going to cover everything on Dynamite. I'm just going to cover some of the big points to me. Another match we got to talk about, Brody King, Malachi Black. I don't know if they're called the Kings of the Black Throne or the Knights of the Black Throne, because when they were coming out, Justin Roberts announced them as the Kings of the Black Throne, but the nameplate said the Knights of the Black Throne. I don't know. I was a little thrown off, but I think the song itself actually says Kings of the Black Throne, and they kept referring to them on commentary as the Kings of Black Throne. I'm going to guess it's that. I mean, you're going to have Brody King's name in there, and you're going to have Malachi Black's name in there, so it makes more sense to me. But who knows? Maybe it was just a typo or an error. Either way, they were facing Penta and Pac. And here's my thing about this match. Great match. I liked it. I like the outcome. I'm cool with Kings of the Black Throne winning. But my issue was a couple of weeks ago, Pac had a backstage vignette. He talked about how he could see clearly now. He was he got the black mist in the eye, all that kind of stuff, but he was blindfolded. And in that vignette, he ends up pulling down the blindfold and revealing that he's fine. Like, his eyes are fine. He says he's never seen more clear than right now. The black mist didn't affect him to the point where he can't see. I don't know. He basically just showed his eyes, which were fine. There was no context to make it look like he had a busted eye or no black mist in the eye. Like, he's fine. So what I didn't understand with him coming out last night, he needed to put his hand on the shoulder of Alex to help him walk down to the ring. He was blindfolded on the way all the way down to the ring, and even when he got into the ring, and he started the match blindfolded. And my issue was, we all saw his eyes perfectly fine, so why is he still doing this? And I was relieved big time when he actually pulled down the blindfold in the match and then wrestled the rest of the match without it, because I was like, dude, if he kept that match with the blindfold on the whole time, everybody would have been like, this doesn't make any sense. I actually thought it would have been cool. I said it in a few videos prior that I thought it'd be kind of cool to see him do like a Daredevil thing where he wears the blindfold, but obviously he can see through it, but we are not supposed to know that. And, he would be blind, but his other senses would be heightened where he knows when someone's going to attack him so he can duck or move out of the way. I thought that would have been pretty cool to see, and he actually started the match that way. But, he ends up taking off the blindfold, and I was like, all right, cool. Now let's just not go back to it. Let's not keep coming out, needing help to get out of the ring. We all know you can see, dude. You're not fooling anybody. You don't need the blindfold, Pac. You're fine. It's like Talladega Nights when Ricky Bobby, if you've ever watched it, after he gets in the car accident with his car's on fire, and he's pretending that his leg doesn't work, and he doesn't know, he can't feel his legs, and he's like in a wheelchair, and he acts like he's handicapped, and he's like, I can't move. And then, I forgot the name of the dude, but he sticks a freaking knife in there, and then he starts yelling. He's like, oh, he can finally feel his legs. He can feel his legs the whole time. Pac, you don't need the blindfold. You can see it the whole time, dude. You don't need to keep coming out with it. We got it. We're cool. Let's move on from it. I want to talk about the main event. MJF versus CM Punk. Here's a callback that I very much appreciated. When MJF came out, he was sporting pinstripes on his gear. Now, these, to me, were Yankee pinstripes. It was a callback to when CM Punk faced John Cena in Boston. I believe at Night of Champions, I can't remember, but he faced John Cena in a big match for the title, wearing Yankee pinstripes on his gear against John Cena in one of the biggest matches of his career. I saw this as the same thing. MJF wearing the pinstripes in Chicago. Yes, it doesn't make sense because they're not really rival teams, but for the throwback of it, yes, I get it. I saw that, and then like today on social media, I saw some people saying that no, it was the White Sox pinstripes, which I don't know why. I guess maybe it would make sense because Punk likes the Cubs. I'm getting too much into baseball this one, I know. But I honestly feel like if you look back at it, the elbow pad that MJF wears was pinstripes, and it had a little navy blue. The White Sox don't wear navy blue. The Yankees have navy dark blue. So I'm going to say I'm sticking to it. It was a Yankee pinstripes gear callback. And I think it was delivered cool and excellent. I just love the whole thing. It was a cool callback, and if that's what it really was, which I'm really sure it was. Yeah, really cool. Great match, though, by the way. I mean, we got to start talking about how good of shape CM Punk is in. I mean, when he started back in AEW, he was kind of rusty. He had a little bit of ring rust. He was kind of blown up after a few minutes of wrestling. His cardio has gotten a lot better because now he went like a 40-minute match with MJF, and he looked great the entire match. Like, I mean, this is probably the best match I've seen Punk in since coming to AEW, and I'm honestly really sure it has been for me. Yeah, great match. MJF defeats CM Punk by cheating. I guess he pulled off his wrist tape and he choked Punk out, but he did it in a way where the ref couldn't see it. So he ends up choking Punk out. Punk never tapped, kind of just passed out. Referee calls for the bell, and as he's raising MJF's hand, the wrist tape falls, and then the ref has to restart the match. And so that was kind of a cool tease. When he first won that way, the shots of the crowd, everybody was just like blown away, like surprised. I mean, it's Chicago, CM Punk's hometown. Everyone's just like, oh my God, I can't believe this dude just beat Punk here. And yeah, I had the same reaction. I was like, oh shit, this is awesome. And then the ref restarted the match. I was like, all right, now maybe Punk wins. I'm going to be honest here. A lot of people might not like what I say. It's fine. It's just my opinion on it. MGF ends up winning for the second time in one match, essentially. He used the ring that Wardlow had given him. Wardlow, by the way, looked pretty reluctant. He didn't look like he didn't want to do it. He didn't look too happy about it. But, yeah, so he helps MJF win by giving him the ring, distracts the ref. MJF hits Punk with the ring, and then he pins him. Punk's knocked out. Here's my opinion. I felt like this was the right call. I felt like this was the right thing to do. Clearly, AEW and these other wrestlers in AEW view MJF as a big deal. He is the future of the company. I think they mentioned last night he's only 25 years old, something like that. Very seldom do you get a guy who's this good at this early of an age. And the thing about him, he doesn't have to be flashy. He doesn't have to impress with high flying moves. He's very solid in what he does, and obviously his promo skills are through the roof. MGF is amazing. He is definitely the future of that company, and it's cool to see other people recognize that, and Punk willing to lose to him, not only ruining his undefeated streak, CM Punk's undefeated streak, but also losing to him in Chicago, Punk's hometown. A lot of people might have not saw it coming. A lot of people might have not agreed with it. I definitely thought it was the right call. This does more for MGF than it does for Punk. So very, 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 very cool to see. I'm glad MJF won. One thing I want to touch on before we leave, I forgot to mention it earlier. Danhausen in AEW, baby. How awesome is that? My only issue with it is when he came out last night with Wheeler Yuta and the Best Friends, I was just like, this can't be what we do with him. Like, even if he's not ready to get back in the ring yet because he's still coming back from the injury, that's fine. But we got to do something with Danhausen. We got to have him cut a promo. We got to have him do a backstage vignette. We got to have him on commentary. We got to have him do something. Because for people who don't know who he is, they need to know why this guy has all this hype around him. And sometimes hype is not a bad thing. But when people see, I've already seen people criticizing the way he wrestles in the ring. Listen to me. You don't have to be an amazing wrestler to have all the hype and be over. You don't. Do we all remember Stone Cold Steve Austin? Are you going to tell me that Stone Cold Steve Austin, and by the way, this is not me comparing, I'm just trying to make a point. Do you all remember Stone Cold Steve Austin being this amazing technical wrestler in the ring? No. But his personality, his charisma, his promos, just the aura about him, that's what made Stone Cold Stone Cold. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying Danhausen's going to be the same way, but what if he is? You can't have, even if Danhausen is not the most amazing wrestler in the world, you got to give it a chance here. You got to give him a chance to show what his character is, his promo skills are. You know, AEW can't just bank on the fact that he has a nice solid following behind him, because for people who are not familiar with him, they're not going to have any idea why this guy is here and why everybody's going crazy for him. Everybody's going to be like, who is this guy? Why is everybody going nuts? That's my only thing about it. Yeah, so before we go, I want to hit you guys with one more thing. And if you've seen this before, you know exactly where I'm going. Before we go tonight, thank you for watching, by the way. Subscribing and liking does this channel wonders, does this video wonders, get it out there for more people to see. I really want to grow this channel, you know. We don't have a crap ton of subscribers, but we have a lot more than what we started with, and you always got to start somewhere, and I'm very appreciative of everybody who has subscribed and supported this channel, so I really appreciate that. But before we go tonight, just want to make sure you and everybody who watches know this one thing, and that is Tony Khan. Tony Khan loves you. He really does.